With due respects to Guruji, let us start the opening prayer. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So, by taking the blessings of Guruji, let us start this session. This is our 10th session, and we have started from October, and this has been the 10th session. And just to, because it is a long gap, I thought we would have some gist of what we did from the beginning. So what is Tattvabodha actually? It is the basic foundational text for us to move on to the spiritual evolvement. So how do I evolve spiritually? What is spiritually? What is spirituality? Basically, what does that mean? Some basic data is given here. So this is written by Adi Shankaracharya. So here, what is Adi Shankaracharya telling is the Advaita philosophy. What is Advaita philosophy? Is there is no two. It is only one. What is that one? One is nothing but the energy or the consciousness or the spirit that I have within me is the only one. And that energy or that consciousness is present everywhere, in everybody, in every living being and non-living being. That is nothing but, it is the essential nature for any living being to be existent. That is human and being. Being is what is to be known by us. We already have it. Only thing is we are in ignorance. That veil that is covering that ignorance has to be removed to get to know what our real essential nature is. Then comes how we are attracted to the outer world and not to the inner world. That is, we are very much objective in our nature and not subjective. So basically, what is it that we are looking at? We are looking at the objects outside, interacting with the people and getting hurt, the emotional disturbance is there, all those happen. But actually, if we think of who we are, what Ramana Maharshi says, who am I? If we think of who we are, then we get Atma, Anatma Viveka. That is the objects outside, and what I am is what we need to get to know. So here comes, what is the obstacle for my Atma to be known is, it is the mind. I am identifying myself with the body, with the mind. So how to get rid of that? What is mind basically? That comes in the next few shlokas and the different talks of Guruji. What is mind is nothing but, it is the bundle of thoughts. Thousands of thoughts come to us, which are repetitive and which are false. So this is what we will have to understand, that we are in the world of thoughts. We'll have to come out of the thoughts and look at what we are, who we are. Then, what is our purpose of life? Purpose of life is, for anything and everything, we seek happiness. Say, if I want to buy a fruit, I want a very tasty, good food because it gives me happiness when I eat a fruit. I go to a shop and buy it, but I choose the best. Why? Because there is something that perfection is there within me. So that is why I match that perfection. So that perfection is nothing but, we will have to align ourselves to the perfection. That is nothing but, we have that perfection within us. We'll have to identify that perfection. So in any situation, I am correct, the others are wrong. If at all such a situation arises, then what is it that is obstructing us? I can think that because everybody is Atma, everybody is consciousness, everybody is the same, Advaita, when it works there, but something comes into being that I am correct, you are wrong. Why is that person wrong? I am identifying him as Dvaita. He is not one with me. He is not the same. So what is it that is obstructing me is, it is nothing but my ego, ahankara. That is, I am correct, you are wrong. I am okay, you are okay, we don't get. Or you are okay, I am not okay, means I have low confidence. But what is my essential true nature? It is the Atma, the self. So that self I'm forgetting. There is a covering for that, which is so strong by what is the cause for that veil that is being covered is nothing but the ego. The mind is nothing but the ego, and that mind, each thought is connected to me, the ego I. I am great, I am beautiful, I am successful, I am in a very good position, I am earning too much, I have so many houses, something like that. I goes on and on and on. But what is true I is nothing but the self, which is Sat Chit Ananda. What is that Sat Chit Ananda is? It's always peaceful. But these turbulences are there in our mind, which doesn't have any space in the, there's no physical location for the mind. It is imaginary. But still we give so much of importance to the mind, and we don't consider what is that essential nature within us. So here, our definite path is actually we are finding happiness in everything. But all those happiness are temporary. So what is that permanent happiness is nothing but we are the process or the path in which we move for permanent happiness is nothing but moksha. It is not that after death we will seek moksha. No. Here now we can have moksha. That is identifying ourselves with the self. That is the true happiness that we get, and permanent happiness. Not seeking it from the outside is what we should actually practice. And here comes Viveka. The Gnana and Viveka comes into picture. What is that Viveka? I must differentiate what is my true nature. That true nature is nothing but the self. Say, if I am breathing, if I am talking, if my heart is beating, and all the organs in my body are working, means how is it working? When I sleep, I am not active. My mind is sleeping. How all these organs are active? It is doing its own work. If the blood pumping is stopped, then what happens? We will die in our sleep. But there is something else that is taking care of this body work. Whatever is the function of this body, it is taken care by something else. What is that? That must be found out by us. So to know that, what is our true nature, what is self, what is my true I, that is self, we will have to remove our ignorance. It is not that we are finding something new. It is not an invention. It is a discovery of ourselves. Invention is something newly we are creating. Say, I am successful, I get some, I achieve, I get a prize after running race. I get that prize. But here I am already happy. Only thing is I'll have to search for it. I'll have to find it out by myself, by not going outside and seeking from outside, but from inside, within. So this is what is Viveka. And Vairagya is something, see, it is not that I'll have to leave everything, leave my family, leave my children, everybody I can leave and go somewhere and sit somewhere else in ashrama or somewhere and do dhyana, all those. No. We will have to sail through this process, and then we must have that detachment for everything, not linking ourselves with attachment. This is what is Vairagya. So in the sadhana chatushtaya, we have viveka, vairagya, shatsampati, and mumukshutva. These are all the 4 basic steps for liberation. Liberation is nothing but, it's not something that we go to heaven, or if we have done the punya and we go to hell if we have done papa. No, everything is here itself. It's in our mind basically. So viveka is nothing. We have understood what is viveka. Understanding our situation with gnana is viveka. Vairagya is detachment with every situation that we have. That means we should be the witness. We should be the observer of the situation so that we can have peace within ourselves. So that is Vairagya. Then we have Shat Sampati. Here, 6 aspects come here. So what are all those 6 aspects are? It is Shama. We have already dealt with Shama. Shama is controlling of the mind. How do we control the mind? There are so many ways of being, how to observe the mind, be sakshi to the mind. So, how not to get emotionally involved in any situation is what is sakshi. So, being sakshi is that. And then we have dhamma. Dhamma is nothing but control of the senses. ಆಸೆ ಎಂಬ ಬಿಸಿಲು ಕುದುರೆ ಏಕೆ ಏರುವೆ ಮರಳು ಕಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕಳೆಯುವೆ. That's a very famous film song. So ase, the desire is what which takes us along, one desire after another, that completes another desire. We are just in the vicious loop of the chain of desires. So that has to be broken. So this is where our understanding of life and each situation that we get in our life is for us to transform inside. Inward transformation happens only with difficult situations. When we are complacent and when we are happy and everything is smooth, we don't change. We stagnate. So difficult situation or suffering comes to us for our own, as blessing for our own transformation. So we wouldn't have come to Guruji without any troubles or without any problems. We wanted to find some solution to some of the problems. That is how we can come to Guruji, and we are blessed and we are graced by him. So, troubles are the blessings, are the grace by God. That is what we will have to understand. That is, it is nothing but controlling of the senses, controlling of the mind is Shama and Dhamma. Then today's talk is about Titiksha. Before that, I just left one point, that is nothing but subject and object. Who is subject and who is object? I am the subject. If I have to be happy and I seek happiness from the object outside me, that can never be satisfied. So it will be a mirage wherein I seek that water in the desert wherein I don't fetch it at all. It keeps moving. The mirage keeps moving and shifting its places depending on the sunlight. So here, desire is something that happens within us. The emotions comes into picture. The fear comes into picture. The sadness comes into picture. Anger. Because of all this. So happiness is the one emotion wherein we are seeking, but the primary emotions as fear, anger, and sadness are predominant, and we are seeking happiness without all these. But we are in the vicious loop of these negative emotions. It may be grief, it may be sorrow, it may be struggle, anything it may be. So how to handle this is Titiksha. So I hope all of you would have gone through the video of Titiksha, and this was just the gist of what we did for 9 to 10 classes, because we had a long gap, so that we would have the continuity. That's how I gave a short summary of all those. And then let me just ask the question one by one, so that we can have the deeper understanding of what we have heard from Guruji's talk. Sudhaji, you joined first, so I will be asking you, what is Titiksha?
So Prabhuji explains in this video about titiksha as the ability to bear pain primarily, but also happiness. So when we are in pain, we are totally drowned in that emotion of pain, or when we are happy, we are just so elated, and both these are a high or a down. And Prabhuji says that it is very important not to be like, either high or low, because if you remain balanced, then problems will come, problems will go, happiness will come, happiness will go, but you will remain at the same level. And that can happen only when you develop the ability to bear, withstand whatever turbulences come your way. It can be loss of property, or loss of a loved one, or sometimes loss of health, anything. But if you don't have the ability to bear it, then you complicate it in other ways, which Prabhuji gives lots of examples. So, according to Prabhuji, titiksha is the ability to bear pain and happiness.
Nice. Okay, very well said, Sudhaji. I would like to ask one common question to all. Just think of one pain experience and from your own life. So, what has that done to you? One experience. Why this is very important is because when we connect to ourselves, our own experience, then we can apply this sitiksha. If we give examples of somebody else or something else in generic, we are again going outside us. We're not going inward. So each one of you, it may be small one. It may not be a big one. A small 2 or 3 liners wherein when did you experience the pain and when did you want that, when did you get that feeling that you have to come out of that pain or struggle or difficult situation? Vaishnavi ji?
Mm, uh, Ma'am, I'd like to quote what I recently went through. Uh, the most favorite person on the planet for me is my father, and I lost him. It was I have always avoided thinking about the situation when he would pass away, knowing the fact that he was terminally ill. But the fact that there was so much grief that I didn't know where to start and how to process. And then I realized that um, I would not just make my life miserable by living through that pain every day, and I would never be able to understand what my father actually wanted me to be. So now I'm very very conscious about what I speak and what I do or how I behave, thinking of the fact that had my father been there standing in front of me observing what I do, will I still be doing it? And it gives me a lot of strength and a lot of courage to know that what I do, I'm trying to be on the right path. And for me, that process of pain turned into a sense of direction. And I realized that yes, it is not pain anymore, but it is another. Uh, it's another turn in my life, and I have his guidance now forever.
Yeah, I can understand the pain because I have also undergone that. Maybe the pain of losing the loved ones. Both my parents I just lost. So the same, maybe the grief that we undergo. But how to overcome is that is what is more essential. Next would be Geeta ji.
I don't know. So many are there, but which one I should choose, I don't know.
One which has been hanging over you, which without any resolution to that, you could not resolve that. Maybe you can pick that.
which I could not resolve.
Or anything that you wish.
Okay, yeah, but yes, I don't know, but this is what, as you said, the like, which has not resolved, you take it. So it has just a flash in my mind to talk on that. Actually, ma'am, I during my college days and all, I, like, used to think I should do something, explore in science, become a medical doctor, do service and all, or else go to the research side, because I'm very much interested in science. Okay, and genetics is my favorite subject, and I want either medicine or related to something which should be useful to the humanity, and I want to make it. I've done something great to the society and feel happy. So that was there in my mind. But due to many changes in my life, like, hurdles, that could not happen. But during my profession, I always, this was there in my mind. It is pricking, actually. Whatever I wanted to do, I could not do. Whenever I see such people, like, I used to feel, "Arey, see, I could be in their place." Like, those kind of it was so
Thoughts.
deep, actually. It was so deep. But over a period of time, when I was working and all, I I was into the like, medical industry only, and there I used to guide the patients. Okay, some situations where, like, unexpectedly, the situations have come in a such a way, uh, when while talking and helping the people, I got that solen, like, that kind of feeling. Yes, I'm contributing somebody's happiness. I'm making somebody's life at that particular moments very happier way and all. So that made me, over a period of time, that what was the feeling was there towards my career and all, that has totally, like, gone off. Then I started accepting. This has happened when I accepted my life plan as it is. So I realized, take life as it comes. Okay, take life as it comes, and see what best you can do within that resources. So this has given me, I think, I don't know where it really suits with Titiksha and all, but I feel it touches that. Yeah.
Okay. You have shared your experience as not being satisfied, not being happy with the education that you went through, and how you could accept as it is, as the life comes.
Yes.
Thank you, Gitaji.
Thank you.
Jai Shri ji, could you please share your one small, maybe the experience that gave you pain?
Yes, madam. Mine is a very special case. When my second son was born and he was detected as a Down syndrome child, I was not able to take the news very happily, because no parent will be looking forward for a special child. And it took a lot of time for me to accept the situation and come into the terms. And initially, it was really very, very difficult for me to overcome emotionally. And he needed lot of caring also. And also, he was not well all the time. He was suffering from cold, cough, or something or the other. It was a very big, I think, I don't know, with grace of God only we came with, and the family members' help. I was able to sail through that. And now he's a boy. It's okay, ma'am.
It's very difficult to pass through that phase wherein uh, to withstand that, to sail through that phase of life is really difficult.
Difficult, yes, madam. And in those days, we were not having as much help as we are having now. And nobody knows anything about that. And most of them, they look down only. In spite of giving us some this thing, dhairya koda badlu, all of them were talking negatively. And that was too much for us. But somehow, with husband's help and my family members, we were able to get through it. And then because and just he started this mentally retarded children. And I enrolled him when he was 5 months old. It was a great. And anyway, now I'm happy I have done something which God has given me, and I am. And so many times I used to think of why he selected me only, and I never got the answer for that question. It was really very painful, and somehow some good friends and they used to give me courage, and we went. We were able to come out of it. But now it is, all of them are well educated, and society also accepts. So I think nowadays, now the young parents, they may not be so very difficult to bring them up. There are so many resources, and they are doing quite well also.
Yeah, it's really tough, and we feel helpless and hopeless at that moment, wherein there is no solution. And why me? Why am I the person who has to go through all this? Is the question that can never be answered. But titiksha is something that we will have to understand, and now we can understand that. But during that phase, it would be difficult.
Yes, madam. And at that time, we were also very unmatured, and we never had this spiritual level of thinking also. We were in our middle age and we want to enjoy life.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing this. Sudhaji?
So actually, I can't point out any single one instance like that, but I can only say that I've gone through pretty much everything that the earlier three participants have talked about. Now, wanting to do something in my life in terms of profession, or when I lost my father, to whom I was also extremely close and attached. He was like the most important person to me in my life. Or when it comes to children and their future and the decisions that they make in their life. In everything, I had to go through a lot of, it was a roller coaster ride for me at every phase. Sometimes I could bear it. There was that thing that, yes, whatever this is, I have to go through it. Sometimes that understanding would come. But sometimes the pain of the situation would be so severe that, I did ask myself, like just now Jayashree ji was saying, why me? Why me? What have I done wrong to go through so much in this life? So such questions have also come. But especially now when I'm listening to Prabhuji talking about titiksha at length in 2 videos and giving those multiple examples, what I realize is that titiksha is not something that comes to us suddenly when we are going through a huge loss or misfortune. On a daily basis, when we are going through even small incidents, small situations in our life with our family, friends, situations, you have to recall that you need to be patient. This which has come will pass. and it is not necessary for you to get totally wound up with it and react or get into any stress. So that is the understanding ever since I've listened to Prabhuji's video on Titiksha. That is how I feel Titiksha is applicable to me every minute now in my life.
Yeah. Thank you, Sudhaji. Shweta ji, would you like to add on to this, or is it okay? Maybe you're very fresh and you don't know this group, and this is the first time that you've joined. Would you like to add? It's left to you, however you feel.
Yeah, ma'am. As I told you, I'm a parent for an autistic child. So, as Jayashree ma'am said, when you hear the diagnosis, you are not in a moment to accept. So, he was diagnosed at the age of 2. And until he was 6, I was like, no, he doesn't have autism because he looks fine. And he was fine up till 2, 1.5 years, he was fine. He was going to, he was babbling, and all his milestones has achieved perfectly. And very cute baby also. So we never understood what was going wrong with him. So then at the age of 2, when I went to the pediatrician, he told me, your child is autistic and it is a lifelong journey. But then also I was like, no, you don't know about my son. No, he's fine. What is wrong with him? He achieved all the milestones. Then once I came down and going to centers, asking, is it true that going through assessments, right? Then when we slowly, I, came to know that. And it was as my husband was staying out, we had a distance, like he was staying in Gulf. I was a single mother to bringing up here. So there were many challenges that time. It was not easy to face the society, especially because everybody starts talking about our karma, questioning about, then you don't have an answer. Not only about us, a question starts about our parents also. It is said, no, your parents, it goes on. So then you have to take a stand somewhere and speak. You please don't talk all about that. So there was a lot things going on. But I think, however, now he's 15 years. So it was a long journey. And still it's a long journey. But I think now we have found out that what is the purpose he being in our life, why he has come to our life. And hopefully we will find a way further also. So that is how I am here also now, because we have to evolve ourselves as spiritually also. We can get the answers through that only. So, ma'am, that's it.
So thank you, Shweta ji.
Thank
Thanks for sharing in a new platform wherein you didn't know any of us. You knew only Geeta ji. Anyway, it's good that you shared, so that we think that our own difficulty is too high.
Yeah.
When we hear to somebody else's difficulty, then titiksha can be applied.
Yeah,
this
correct.
personal things need not have been asked here, but this directly applies to us. Like each one of us are undergoing difficulties. So why are these difficulties arising? Is the question each one of us. It depends. The intensity is different for each one of us. But why is it that difficulty has been given to me alone? Is the way we will have to understand our life. So I am having some backlogs from my previous lifetimes. You haven't heard this video, Shwetaji, that titiksha means we are born for millions of lifetimes. We would have done some karma, millions of births we have taken, and death is there, and we go punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. So we go forward with death, birth cycle, and that is how we carry on our life. So now is the time that we will have to take care of ourselves. So going within, listening to Guruji's talk, who is an enlightened being itself, is punya that we have done. So whatever difficulties that are given to us are blessings. So that is how we can reach here. If we don't have that real suffering in our life, we don't come out to seek happiness. We will be complacent, we'll be happy in our own world. So this personal experience of each of us must be related, because we can apply titiksha in our life. These circumstances are for everyone, not only for me. It's not my own suffering. It's not only Shwetaji's, it's not only Jayashreeji's, it's not only Sudhaji's. Each one of us undergoes suffering to our own level. It depends on our withstanding capacity. But only thing is, how we handle, how we come out of that is what spirituality guides us. This is what Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, the Guru, who has given us this Tattvabodha in understanding ourselves, our emotions, our mind, so that we can come out of that and stay in a balanced way and understand what is our true nature, that is self, or that is the Atma, which is always happy. So we are identifying with our ego. I am suffering. That is not there in Advaita. Who is suffering? This body is suffering. This mind is suffering. Say, if my leg is amputated, then I am with only one leg. That means to say, I am identifying with my body. That pain is for the body. I am not that body. Who am I? I am the Atma. So the mind is not me. That is the ego. I is the ego. What is that? I means ahankara is the ego, wherein I attach myself with the body, the mind, and the intellect, which has to be dropped. Then whatever may be the circumstances, whatever happens will happen. We cannot even move a little thing. I cannot talk the way I am talking now unless it has been destined. It is not me who is talking, me as the body, the kanti, or the mind that is speaking. It is from the Atma that is coming out. Otherwise, how can it come out? How can the voice box? Do I know how the voice box works? No. You have no control over that. You can understand it doesn't work only when it is troubling you. When you're not able to talk, only then can you understand. So you can understand happiness only when you're deprived of it. So that is what is titiksha. That each one of us sees, it is not that asking questions, getting the answer is not the purpose of this AVSC. It is that we have to go deep. This is manana, and nidhidhyasa has to happen. What is it? Contemplation of what is being given, what has been told by Guruji. Am I applying it into my life? Is what is to be practiced day in and day out, moment to moment. Only then can we raise above this level. Otherwise, it is not possible. So thank you all for sharing your personal sufferings that has brought you all here. So that is something you must be happy for. Otherwise, we don't reach this spiritual, we don't get that inclination at all for spirituality. Without any suffering in us, we will not be moving towards this direction. There must be something that ignites us within to reach this. So let us move on to the next question. Who should answer? Geeta ji.
Yes.
Problems in life comes to us often. We have seen each one of us. Nobody is discriminated. Nobody has any partiality from God. Each one of us have our own sufferings. So problems in life come to us often, whoever it may be. How not to get affected from it? This has been told in the talk. These questions are from the talk itself.
Yeah. Prabhuji says we should have to have the shock observers. Okay. So what exactly the shock observers are, like, tolerating capacity. According to me, the shock observers, I must have understand the situation, accept the situation, and take it why it is happening, aware of that, and what extent can you mend it, how you have to mend it, you have to go. So see, the destiny, what you have set to do certain work. You have to do it. How difficulties will come, like, as by seeing the difficulties, we can't keep quiet. So when our destiny is clear, so whatever obstacles will be there in between, we'll try to overcome with our planning, aiming our final destination. Our final destination as to evolve as a human being to the divinity, going to our true divinity. That is we are a bliss beings. Okay, we are blissful beings. So to experience that process, these hurdles have to be overcome. So for that, we should have to have this kind of shock observers. This is what Prabhuji says in the talk.
Yes, thank you, Gitaji.
Thank you.
Jayashree ji, what is the example that he gives for this? How not to get? What is it that we get in our life on a road? What does he give the example as?
He gives the example. It's a bus example is given, madam. He has given a bus example, like the ordinary bus and the Volvo bus. The Volvo bus has the shock observers, whereas the ordinary bus, even though it is not of that much capacity, with that much capacity.
Correct, madam. So we can know what is Volvo bus and what is ordinary bus. So how are we? We can compare our life and our mental level with that Volvo bus and the ordinary bus. Next is Sudhaji or Vaishnaviji? Okay. Who has to answer? Any of you? I don't know who is in the order. Another example has been given, stated here as the how we take life. One is the bus. The another example that has been given. Can you tell that example? How we take life. Sudhaji?
Yeah. So another example that Prabhuji gives is about the, roadblocks and road humps. So a very nice example that Prabhuji gave is that, if you are just going out for a drive, you have no purpose. So you come out onto the road and you see that there are so many potholes. Then right outside your apartment, you will just try once 2 minutes, then you get fed up with the potholes. You will turn back and come back home. But if you have your destination in mind, that I have to go to work or I have to drop my child, there is a definite destination in your mind. Then what happens is, even if there are potholes, somehow you maneuver, you get over them and move forward in the journey and attain your goal. So that is what Prabhuji is telling us here, that even when you are faced with such a terrible problems which may actually seem like showstoppers for you, you may feel at one point that, this is so big, I can never overcome it, I might as well just end my life at this point. I sometimes such feelings also come to us. So it is at times like that, in moments of weakness, that Prabhuji has cautioned us to remember that, life is not just this one life. He says we have taken birth millions of times before this life, and we will continue to take birth millions of times after this also, unless and until we are able to understand that, what is the real destination. When you know the real destination of this birth and death, then even when some pain comes to you, you will be able to put it in proper perspective, give it that place that it has really in this journey, and keep going forward. So that is what I understood.
Very well said, Sudhaji. Vaishnaviji, what is it that can take us forward even with road humps and roadblocks in our lives?
So Prabhuji mentions titiksha, this quality of forbearance, and the quality of the mind to withstand and not give in to either pain or pleasure. in a logical order after Dama and Shama and Uparati comes Titiksha. He says your mind is in control, your sense organs all are within your control, and your faculties are turned inwards to seek the higher truth. But there is never a time that everything around you is going to be stable. One or the other issue is going to come. These turbulences will come your way every day. So, what is it that will help you in the long run? So then Prabhuji mentions forbearance and how the shock absorbers make your journey smooth, and the fact that uh, nothing actually bothers when you're a witness, when you're an observer. Nothing bothers. The learned mind knows that giving into these daily changes in the ever dynamic nature of life can actually suck your energy out, and you lose your focus when you're in the journey of seeking the eternal happiness, the divine happiness. Uh, you need to be equipped with these qualities. Otherwise, pain and pleasure will consume your time and energy.
So what is one focus that you must have? What is that one focus that we must have?
That are the destination. That
what is that destination?
the discovery of the consciousness.
Yes, yes. Though you said, I just wanted that to be brought in at the end so that it is reinforced. Very well said, Vaishnavi-ji. The next question is Geeta-ji. Explain the mechanism of shock absorber with an example with a boy getting depressed. The same example has been told by Guruji. You can take that example and tell.
Yeah, Guruji quoted this example. A boy in the neighborhood girl, he is fallen in love with her, and when she get married to some other, then he tried to commit suicide, and he jumped from the top floors, but he has not died. And for the rest of his life, he's bedridden. So he thought of losing life, but he ended up having body but not doing anything. So this example, the learning from this particular example shows that the person, when doing that thing like jumping and falling, he is not aware what is going. He thought he will end and he will die, that's it. And with that, by ending his life, the suffering may go. But in turn, what he did is, he has not lost his life, but he ended up in more misery, and totally he lost his body. That is very precious. So here the person, this example gives a lesson. Think before you do certain extreme situations. Hold on, have a tolerance, take some opinion. This is what I understood, ma'am.
Yes, very well said, Geeta-ji.
Yeah.
So, titiksha at each and every level, it need not be a big struggle. Maybe if I pour water somewhere, maybe on my clothes only, I just pour the water. Whom am I cursing? I am cursing myself. Couldn't I have hold it better? It's a new dress that I have worn and I have poured the water. So where is titiksha here? I will have to have the balance. Yes, this has happened. What is next step? Solution orientation of our thinking. Okay. So that is something that converting, we'll have to convert every shock in life into a major, why do we do that? Into a major event. Like small
Yeah.
things, we make a big, huge thing. Yes, no doubt there are many big problems, and let alone that big problem, smaller ones, if we can take care of, those big problems can be handled easily.
Correct.
Small things, maybe not answering well, but all I feel that I have not asked the question very well. That itself, where do I stand? Each thought I am answering, and my emotion is getting connected to each thought that comes into the mind. So how is it that I can absorb, or how can I be witness to each thought is what, and accept it as it is? That is something that shock absorber or the Titiksha tells us.
True.
So until this, we had one more question. Okay, this was the last question for that first video, and since it is 8 o'clock, we have another 5 questions to complete the 14th talk. What shall we do? Shall we continue, or shall we stop at this?
We can stop at this, Kantiji, because it is
Okay.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And
that's
my
okay.
request, ma'am, to continue and to as we have taken a long gap, if it is possible, if it is okay for every one of us group members, we can continue the same thing tomorrow, so that we can finish other 5
No,
questions as
tomorrow
well.
somebody is not able to come now. So
This is my just a point of view.
yeah.
So the
Because
continuity
actually,
will be there.
No,
Yes, yes.
tomorrow I can't make it, madam.
Yes, yes. Jayashree ji
It's
can't
not
make it. Any other different timings? Can it be possible for all of you? Okay, let us finish this with the prayer, and then before leaving the meet, we will discuss when to have the class. Okay, we will end this with the prayer. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamuduchate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Nanimbudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Sachidanandatma Shivananunane Shivoham 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 Atmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Satyadarshanam अंतर्ज्योतिः बहिर्ज्योतिः प्रत्यग्ज्योतिः परात्परा ज्योतिरेव ज्योतिः स्वयं ज्योतिः आत्मज्योतिः शिवोऽस्म्यहम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरिः ओम तत्सत् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम।